Okay, today we're going to start using liquid watercolor. So the liquid watercolor is in trays like this, and all the colors are labeled, so please make sure you put the lid on the right color when you're finished with it. And you're going to need some water, you're going to need a paintbrush, and you are going to need a paper towel. I went ahead and put masking tape on mine because I'm going to show you a bunch of different techniques we can use. The first one I'm going to show you how to do is a gradated wash. And first you're going to get some water and you're going to wet your paper. You don't want to get it too wet, just enough so it's wet. Maybe a little more. And then you're going to grab some color. I think I'll grab some blue on my brush. And you're just going to bring it kind of down. I don't think, I might have to add a little bit more water down here. So with a gradated wash, you're going to have it darker at the top than it is at the bottom. So this is good for like skies. I might add a little more blue, a darker blue to the top. And sometimes it helps if you kind of tilt your paper a little bit. That way it's going from dark to light. Another thing you can do is called wet on wet technique. So we're going to get this wet again. Get my paper nice and wet. And then I can just drop in some color. And then it does this nice kind of thing where it's kind of exploding all over the paper, which is kind of cool. It's very unpredictable, so you never know exactly what it's going to do. And then we can also do wet on dry, which is basically how you normally paint with the other kind of paints. So I'm going to kind of dry my brush off just a little bit, and I'm just going to get the blue, and I can just paint this way. This is like if you want a flat color, and do that. Another thing we can do is we can take a paper clip, and this is called sgraffito. I'm going to scratch into the paper some. And make some designs. You don't want to scratch too much, so you don't want to destroy the paper. I'm going to go ahead and do that one with, let's do it with purple. As you can see, where I scratched into the paper, it's soaking up that paint and it's even darker. So that's what we call sgraffito. Another technique we can use is getting our paper wet again. And this is kind of called a variegated wash, because I'm going to use a bunch of different colors. And I'm just going to drop them in there. Let's add some yellow. And the colors will just mix on their own there. Let's add some red to that. And another cool thing we can do while it's still wet is I've got some rock salt, and you can take, I don't want a whole bunch, we'll just take a pinch, and I'll kind of put some of that in there. This only works if the watercolor is still wet. If it's dry, it's not going to do anything. It has to be wet so that the salts can pick up the color. Then you can also get like a dry brush and do what we call dry brushing. Let's try some red with that. I'm going to get some watercolor on my brush and I'm going to dry it off just a little bit on my towel. And it gets that scratchy effect to it. It doesn't work if your brush is really wet. So your brush has to be dry. That's why we call it dry brushing. And then one last thing that I will show you is we can take our brush and we can put it in, dip it into our watercolor paint. You don't want it dripping wet for this, so I'm going to wipe it on the side a little bit. And you can kind of splatter the paint, and you just use your finger like so. You should not be splattering it all over the room. I'm really close to the paper and just flicking it with my finger. And then I can even go in with a different color, like maybe purple, and splatter it some more. And that is it for watercolor. Now with watercolor, you do need to keep track of your water. If your water gets too dirty, you are going to have to dump it out and clean it off. Now if you're using the rock salt, that's going to stay on until your paper is completely dry. If you take it off early, nothing's going to happen. When you do take it off after it dries, you get sort of this effect to your painting. And that's it.